What is your church? Uh-huh. Is my denomination of vision and mission integrating or dovetailing with the vision of Jesus for the church? No. But think about what's the vision of your church? What's the vision of your church? What do you understand to be Jesus' vision for the church that he established? And what do you think and understand to be the mission of the church that Jesus established? Because the vision and mission for the church and how we understand it, lays the framework for the curriculum development that we want to achieve. And so, this phase of curriculum planning, it lays the foundation for all the curriculum development steps. So planning, and we know someone has said that if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So planning is important and it requires great thinking, and because this is not a lesson on planning, I would assume all of us know that, but it's the foundation. This phase is quite foundational, and the key issues here, would be identifying and determining the major issue or problem of one or more target audience. So, let me give an example. So, let's take Methodist Church, right? So, Methodist Church, do you have a children department? Do you have a youth department? Do you have a men's department? Do you have a women department? Do you have, what other department do you have? Education department, people with disabilities. So think about, probably you want now to say, if you focus on the children or young people, what is the major issue? And you want to develop a curriculum for children department or for youth department. If you are to do an analysis, a quick analysis of what are the issues, what's the one major issue that children are going through, which you would want to address in a planned, progressive, purposeful way, as we say about curriculum. So you look at what is this major issue, or what you may filter as the problem statement that you would want to address. So identify and determine the major issue or major issues, and zero it to one target audience. And ask yourself, now, what is it? I have seen children, they have very little of memory of scriptures. So what solution do you want to provide? Is it knowledge of scriptures, or is it a question of formation and discipleship, or is it, do you want to focus on new believers among children? So people, you have identified major issues, and you're saying, I want to focus on this particular issue among children, or I want to focus on this particular issue among, youth, or I want, or you say men are not coming to church, and those who come to church are not picking leadership roles. So I want to have a curriculum around men. And what is it about men? Leadership. You develop a curriculum that focuses on leadership, and then you'll be able to tease out quite a number of things. So, if you thought about the vision of the church, of your church, and I want you to think in 2 minutes, zeroing to one major audience within the church or department, and try to list like 2 to 3 major issues that you think that audience, it's something that you want to address with that audience. What would they be? If you had a chance to address 2 or 3 issues with that audience, it could be children who are aged this cluster of years. It could be a department, like education department, or women's department, or counseling department, or pastorate department. What is it that you would want to address? It could even be the new believers. Then, so there you are thinking about what is the major issue that you want to address. Then it's very difficult to develop a curriculum when you are alone. So think about who can you put together to help you think through. Do you need other heads of department? Do you need some volunteers? Do you need, who else do you need in the team to help you? Because it certainly would not be possible to develop a curriculum when you are alone. Then, therefore you're asking who needs to come on board. And then the third big issue there is, what is the extent of prevalence of this issue that you have identified? Maybe there is doctrinal error in church, or there is a lot of fun that is happening in the church at the expense of, so there is business, that is happening in the church. You see, like the way Jesus went, found people selling and doing business, and he decided this thing I'm going to deal with it square. So what is it that you want to deal with? And what's the prevalence? What's the extent of its prevalence within the audience that you have identified? And so, how do you want to address that issue? So if it is doctrinal issue, maybe do you want to do certain classes? Do you want to do systematic theology? Do you want to do biblical theology? Do you want to do pastoral? How do you want? Or maybe people are not even coming to church because they are going through difficult times. The economy is hard for them. So do you want to engage in a pastoral approach to what the issue that you have identified? So you have the how and the why. And then we go to curriculum design. So that's planning. So what you're doing at that particular point, you're planning. You're thinking, what's the major issue? Who do I need? What's the need? What's the extent of this need? So you're doing needs analysis, needs assessment, so that you can be clear as you start developing content. You are clear that you have a target. There is something that you want to address, and you can put your hand on it, and it's tangible. So we go to the next phase, which is curriculum designing, which refers to the way the curriculum is conceptualized, to include the selection and organization of the content, the selection and organization of learning experiences, and the selection of, how will you know that learning has taken place? Assessment procedure and tools, so that you're able to measure achievement. So that is important. How do you conceptualize the curriculum content so that you're able to select and organize the content, you're able to select and organize learning experiences, and you're able experiences and activities, and you're able to select and organize assessment procedures and tools. But also, what are the resources that you will need for you to teach? So it's the content, it's the learning experiences, it's the assessment, but it is also the resources. Do you need the charts? The CEF team here, they had a book, isn't it? Wordless book, and then he had a song book, isn't it? Those are resources. So what other resources, learning resources, do you need in order for you to achieve the learning outcomes? And therefore here in designing, you are determining the following. What are the intended outcomes? What the learner will be able to do after participation in curriculum activities? What outcomes are you looking for? 1 year. So the major issue was